So I was just on a backpacking trip and I was talking to my buddy Jason from Backpacking with Jason. We were talking about water filters and what filter we like best and what filters we don't like. And I said to him, I said, it's so funny how much that is one of the biggest arguments in backpacking is what is the best water filter. Well, his response was that, well, water filtration and your water intake is one of the most important things you need to take care of when you go backpacking. I was like, wow, that's 100% correct. We all know that obviously, but it's very true. So it made me think about doing this video and why some of these things are the most important things you need to watch out for when you go backpacking, and just want to break these down into 3 separate tips. Now, disclaimer in big letters, this is just tips that I use. Do not use this as the right source of information as far as your backpacking hydration needs. Just a reference on how I do it, and maybe you get some tips from it and just things to watch out for. I don't want to be responsible for your hydration in the backcountry. I just want to help you out with the knowledge I have. And also, hey, at the end of this, I got a bonus tip. So make sure you stay to the end. There's a bonus tip at the end I want to talk about too. But today we're going to talk about 3 main tips. And guys, if you so graciously would hit the like button, that is one of the easiest ways to support our channel. We'd really appreciate your support as always, and just want to say thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Tip number 1. Now, some of this is a little bit common knowledge, but some people don't think about these things, is climate and temperature. Now, you can be in dry terrain, humid, and all those things can trigger you to sweat more, or also in a very dry climate, you might be sweating and not even realize it because it's evaporating, because it's just very hot with a very low humidity level. So those are things you have to watch out for as far as low humidity level, because you don't realize you're sweating. And then at the high humidity level, it causes you to just drench sweat too. They both basically can make you get dehydrated very quickly. So you need to evaluate the terrain you're gonna be in when you're backpacking, and to make sure that as far as temperature wise, as far as climate, you know what you're getting into. And I can tell you, in the middle of the winter, when the high in the middle of the day is in the low 40s, I'm going to be drinking a lot less water than if it's almost 90 plus outside with a really high humidity. So, and the other thing to talk about is just went to Rockies. It was very dry, but it was very hot. So I knew that I could tell my throat gets dry, that I need to drink more water because I'm not intaking enough. It's just evaporating that sweat. All right, second tip. Now, one part of this a lot of people know, but some don't know about the other part of it. First part of this tip is incline. Now, you can do a lot of trips. Let's take Pitcher's Rocks. It's a very flat terrain. You're just kind of walking down the ocean line. You're not going to be doing huge inclines, and therefore you're not going to be sweating near as much and using as much water in your system, as not to get medical technical. But anyways, you're going to be using a lot less. Now, you still got to think about tip number 1 as far as temperature and stuff, but incline is not going to be a problem as much because you're on flatter land. And this goes for a lot of different trails. You don't have to worry about it. Now, if you're somewhere like out west climbing a mountain, if you're in Yosemite, think about one trail we did. We went through a ton of water because it was literally like 6 miles up incline all the way to the top, and we actually ran out of water on the way down. You drink a lot more, so you need to think about carrying more when you're on those, and think about those separate areas where you can pick more water up. And therefore, the last part of this tip is altitude. Now, one of the things that's supposedly one of the best ways to deal with when you get altitude sickness, or to prevent it, is to make sure you stay hydrated. So if you know that you're gonna be at so many thousand feet, whatever affects you, 9 to 10,000 feet and on up, it's important to make sure you're keeping hydrated, you're keeping those electrolyte levels up, and making sure that you keep your body hydrated, because that is one of the ways to help prevent getting altitude sickness. All right, guys, so this leads on into the 3rd tip. Now, I feel like this was most important, even on a trip I was just on this past weekend, is understanding where you can get more water at, where you can filter more water, and be prepared and know that you're gonna have enough water to get through your day and on to the next day, and know whether you need to camel more water. So I would say, for example, this past weekend, I carried a Hydro Pack 3-liter extra bladder. I carried it with me for the 4 days, and on the last day, I filled it all the way up and carried it with me to our last campsite because I was not sure if we were gonna have water. Lo and behold, we did, but it was at a distance. Some of the guys had to go fetch some more water. But it was important to know that I had water with me and could survive through the night and not get dehydrated. I promise you, it will lead to ugly things. All right, so I promised you a bonus tip at the beginning. This is an important one, and a lot of people mess up with this one, especially using bladder filters and stuff like that, is that you need to make sure you be careful your water sources, that you're not picking up a lot of sediment, that you watch out for silt inside of water. That is one of the meanest things to a filter and clog it up really fast. So I know that when I do my water through a filter on like an area where there's a lot of sediment on the bottom, I make sure to scrape from the top. Or one of the best ways is to find where water's funneling in a like micro-sized waterfall and try to let the water, you know, pour into your bladder from there. So those are things to watch out for: silt, sediment. Silt can be one of the worst about destroying a filter. Been there, done that. So some waters have that, some don't. There's more out west where there's very fine, like granite, you know, and things you got to watch out for. But that's the bonus tip, is to watch out for those materials getting into your filter, because they'll clog you up. And you could be a long ways from getting more water, and you can't filter any water, and you don't want to risk drinking unfiltered water. It's just a bad thing to try. All right, guys, I hope you enjoy these tips. I feel like these are some of the most important things to take and make sure you're watching out for when you're backpacking to stay hydrated. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, make sure to hit the like button. That's one of the easiest ways to support us. As always, we appreciate your support. This is our weekly Thursday video. We do a weekly video every Thursday. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscription bell. Guys, I just want to say thank you again. Got some awesome trip videos going to be putting together soon over the next couple months, and can't wait to show them to you. Just want to say thank you again, and we will see you soon.